So everybody thought we are going to build a SaaS company, but we ended building a sock company, and that was Sock Soho. We built something, we tinkered around, built something in a few days. Just launched it, and I put up a tweet saying, "Hey, would you like to give it a shot?" And it just went viral. And now we are at 400,000 users, and it's all word of mouth. Men, they were wearing socks as women wear their jewelry. Like, it's a very small piece, but it's an accessory you would like to flaunt. And there was no other competitor. A lot of people, they are coming from Wix, Squarespace to Butternut AI. And when we asked them, what was the reason? It was never a delightful experience for them to build on those platforms. So I would say, being a woman, yes, there's a bias against you, but it's not impossible. So it can be a little harder. You have a bit more obstacles on your way, but still it is not impossible. And second, as a brown person, no, I don't feel like a minority here.
Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Wishup. This is episode number 6, and today I have with me Ms. Pritika Mehta. Pritika is the founder of Butternut AI, which helps you develop your own website in just 20 seconds. Also, she is the founder of Soho Sock. You might have seen a lot of celebrities wearing them. And she does a lot of other work, and we will get to know all of that while we have this amazing conversation with her today. Pritika, thank you so much for joining. Know you're a busy person. Thank you for taking the time out.
Thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah. So, Pritika, you, from what I know, grew up in India. Moved to the US, then found another company, then another company. I think you did your master's there. But can you just give us an overview of how the journey has been for you, and how did exactly this happen, where you're doing so many things at once? How did the journey happen for you, from your own words?
Sure. So the journey, well, I would say the seed of building something from 0 to 1. It was there in me since the time I started coding, and that was quite early when I was 12 or 14. I started coding, and I could, the euphoria you get from building something from scratch, and that was amazing. So very early on, I decided I'm going to do something in mathematics, because that is something I really loved, and that's how I got into computer science, did my undergrad in computer science. I was always hacking different things with my friends, doing freelancing work, and trying. Now we call them projects, but at that time we're like, oh, we are doing this startup, that startup. But tried different projects with my friends and in college. And after which I discovered machine learning because of my love for mathematics and coding. That's how I discovered machine learning, and I kind of set my mind that I'm gonna go to the US, learn from the best, and this is what I want to do in my life. So I used to so I was working in a startup back in India, and I started watching Andrew Ng courses on YouTube, and I remember I was so engrossed in machine learning and NLP. I applied to the US universities, and then I got in. That's where in New York I did my master's in AI, and after which I worked for TripAdvisor in Boston. But that kira you say, right, of building things. So I was working on site with somebody, and that kira of doing things was always there. So I thought, okay, shall I wait for 10 years or 5 years and then take the next step? Or shall I just do it now? Am I gonna maybe, so the way I think is am I gonna regret things I don't do right now in maybe 10 years or 20 years? So I thought, okay, after I completed my 1 year, I was like, okay, let me leave my job, take this, leap of faith, leave this job and start something of my own. And that's when I left my job, moved back to India. I didn't even tell my parents before leaving the job. Moved back to India. That's an interesting story in itself. And then I started working with my co-founder Simar on mine batteries. So that was the first company. It started as a content company, grew as a performance marketing and services, which was acquired, and then we wanted to build some product. So we were looking around different things we could build. So I always wanted to create something that could go into millions of homes. So everybody thought we are going to build a SaaS company, but we ended up building a sock company, and that was Sock Soho. So Sock Soho is, I would say, and it's it's a very interesting journey. And so we started SockSoho, we launched it, we got into Y Combinator. The company grew massively. You can see a lot of celebrities. Only today I saw Adani wearing our socks. So you see all these Vicky Kaushal, Saif Ali Khan, these people, they wear SockSoho. It's going really well in India. So I took an exit, and I moved here back in the US, and I was tinkering around with different ideas. That's when all these LLMs they were developing, they were building, and I was tinkering around with different ideas. And the idea of building a web app or a software without hiring people, building an app, a web app with just talking to your system. That was the thesis, and it was like, okay, can that be done? And that's how Butternut was born. We like, okay, everybody who starts needs a website. Can we automate that space first and then get into web apps? And we launched an MVP. We built something, we tinkered around, built something in a few days, just launched it. And I put up a tweet saying, hey, would you like to give it a shot? And it just went viral. And now we are at 400,000 users, and it's all word of mouth. So now we are building the product, talking to users. So that's my journey.
All right. Lots of questions. Lots of questions. now. So along this, so you went there, you pursued your masters, and then you're saying that after working 1 year in TripAdvisor, you kind of wanted to start something of your own, and then obviously you could not do that in the US probably because the visa will go with the job, right? And then
yes,
so you came back to India just to work on something of your own. I think first of all that is incredible because a lot of people will not take that leap of faith. But yeah, so was that like a difficult decision for you, or you thought, okay, then this is something I have to do, so I have to do it? You didn't think too much about it.
I think it was a difficult decision for my parents to take. To absorb that I have taken this decision. Because it was honestly not a very difficult decision for me, because I felt like if I don't give myself a chance, I kind of had that faith that I really enjoy it and I'll make something out of it. So I kind of had that faith that I'll be able to do it. I'll be able to do something, make something out of nothing. So I think that faith really helped me just say, okay, let me give it a shot. What is the worst that could happen? I'll come back to a job. So so I think that's how I made the decision.
So it started as a kind of a performance marketing agency, right? And then how did you really get into, because I think now SockSoho does a lot of products, but it started just with men's socks, right? If I'm not wrong. And so how did you think that this is the product that we want to get into the market? How did that research go, or how did it, before even the research, how did it like enter your mind that okay, socks for men is such a category that we want to explore?
So there are two different things that kind of came together. So one story where it hit, like, how socks are becoming so popular amongst men was when I was interning in Bank of America in Manhattan. My boss used to come and he used to flaunt his red socks, and other men in the team, they were like, oh, I'm wearing this pineapple socks. So it was a very new trend. I'm like, okay, this is something. And when I moved back to India, I was looking at different products. So I read this report by Bain, I think, where so Geo launched like in 2016, 17. That's when this 3G revolution, e-commerce kind of started growing massively. And I read a report that says men fashion, it was growing the fastest, because earlier either for a man, either his mother or the wife would shop, but now because of e-commerce they started shopping for themselves. And so we're like, okay, we can make a mark in this men's fashion, but where do we start? So we made a list of 50 different products through which we could enter into the market. And surprisingly, socks came on the top. So we had different weights assigned. So socks were like easy to ship, you get what you see. Men, they were wearing socks as women wear their jewelry. Like, it's a very small piece, but it's an accessory you'd like to flaunt. And there was no other premium competitor in the space. People were wearing Nike, those thick Nike socks to their office as well. So it was all black, blue, gray. So we're like, okay,
Yeah.
can we make this segment kind of premium, bring on the gifting segment? And and once we launched with our thesis, we started talking to users, and that's how we understood, okay, what they want, what they are liking, what do we amplify on. So that's how SockSoho went
All
from
right.
0 to 1 to 100.
Nice. So, well, your thesis worked out perfectly. I think like it eventually got a lot of market, but then how did so many celebrities started wearing this? How do you like, and it's a question that, if you can answer, it might help a lot of people that how do you create a brand which gets viral in the right circles, as we say? Like, this is like a dream for a lot of people, that their celebrity that celebrities organically pick up your stuff, and it creates a and that obviously creates a value which cannot be met otherwise. So like, how did that actually
So I
happen?
think it is in the product, like the differentiation of being the premium in the premium segment, and also building something that you can't just find on any other shop. So I would say reaching out to celebrities. We started that by sourcing some gift boxes to their designers and everything. But after it just picked up. So now you'll have that Archie's, on Vogue, all the cast, they were wearing socks. So I think it is in the brand, the way the brand was built, the premium segment, everything. It kind of like, you will see celebs, they'll drink Starbucks because it kind of resonates with them. The same way Sock Soho resonated with them. A lot of them, they received it as a gift and then they started wearing it. So it became a
Yeah.
habit. So I think the
Oh,
way we track the gifting segment really helped. Even the top CEOs, they'll be like messaging us in India. They'll be messages us saying, "Hey, I received a SockSoho gift box today from this and that." So I think these two different things, like having the right product and having the right messaging or the marketing, really helped crack celebs.
right. So one, your positioning was definitely that it was definitely a more premium stock, and then also most stocks are so boring, and you got some fun into it, right? Did you also like started kind of uh, bidding everywhere where people were looking for gifts to give? Was that the strategy, or was it more that like it's so you know fun to wear it? So what was your main positioning that you went to the market with?
So when we started SockSo, it was not just, okay, just launch something fun. We are like, okay, if we are doing something, it must be perfect. So our thesis was to build something that is so comfortable that, so comfortable for the Indian man, so that, it should not leave marks. It should not have that itchy thing. It should be pure cotton. So we did a lot of, so I ordered I ordered like around 500 socks from across the world from different brands, tried them and saw what is good, what is something that we can do better. So we had a lot of R&D in place to make our socks really, really comfortable. And then definitely the designs, they were, I would say, fun. They were, some are really elegant, some are we kind of understood the market. We launched with very funky designs like startup socks. Then we moved, then we launched stripes, and we were like, then people started asking us, oh, do you have plain socks? We're like, you get plain socks from everywhere. Why would somebody buy it from Sock Soho? But by then, that time, we realized like people start, it is the brand. People want to wear Sock Soho, so they're like, oh, can you make plain black socks as well? And today, our plain black socks, people would like 10 in a go. So yeah, I think it is for the first time people buy it for designs, but they come back for the comfort. So that combination really helps.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Uh, so you said that the startup got picked by Y Combinator. Is that what happened? And
Mm-hmm.
so we know that the Y Combinator is sort of startup accelerator, right? And then, uh, but for a person who is like for budding entrepreneurs, and I'm asking this because they watch this podcast as well, and so for those people, can you explain like how is the process, or how do you go into a startup accelerator, and what do they actually do for you? Like, where does that help you,
Mm-hmm.
and more importantly, in the how do you get discovered? How does that happen?
So when it comes to applying for different accelerators, so I would say if you are a first-time entrepreneur, it really helps to apply for accelerators, and Y Combinator
Yeah,
is the top one, especially if you're building in software. So the process goes every accelerator. It has they have, I think, 2 batches every year. This is kind of standard where they have an application form which you fill in, and if they like it, if they like your product, your pitch, and everything, they'll invite you for an interview. And it's not going to be a very long interview, very short, quick, and if you clear that interview, you get into the accelerator. And definitely, I would say what could help people get into the right accelerator is first finding the right fit. If you are the right fit for that accelerator. Second, preparing the application in a way where they could, nobody has time to go through your very lengthy application. So make it concise. Then, other than that, try to make it in a way that you could throw that vision there, like how it can become a $1 billion company, how can it become a decacorn or a unicorn, and why are you the right people to build it, what kind of expertise or what kind of insight do you have in that market
yeah,
that nobody else has. So yes, a combination of these things, if you can put that into your application, can really help you
got
get
it.
noticed.
So yeah,
So yeah.
Sock Soho is obviously like it's still going strong and good, right? And are you
Yes,
also still
yes.
actively involved with Sock Soho?
No, I'm not actively involved in SockSoho anymore. So I've taken a back seat, and now I'm working full time
Okay,
on
and you
Butternut
made
AI.
this switch because you wanted to work on Butternut, or you thought it's up to a level where I can move on and do other things?
So the processes in SockSoho, they are set and things are going, everything is set. And as I mentioned, I was tinkering around with different ideas in AI. My background is in AI, it got me really excited, and I was following this space since the time OpenAI started and everything. So yes, I really wanted to make a mark here. And as I mentioned, I was tinkering around with ideas. Butternut came up and it blew up. And we're like, okay, this is something people
Yeah.
really, really want. And
Well,
I just
that's
went for
amazing.
it.
So coming to Butternut, I in preparation of this podcast also tried to use the website, and I went through the experience. It was like I had literally had to type 3 words in the website. The basic structure was created for me, which was amazing. Uh, but I want to know and understand that trying to uh, scale this up. So, and against these incumbent players that are there, for example, let's say Wix is there, right? And
Mm-hmm.
then Wix has been there for some time. Now they have also added this feature built with AI, right? Do they have a competitive advantage because they were already there? And maybe they do, but then how do you, as a new player in this industry of website building, compete with them? Is what I want to understand.
So, see, the thesis of building a startup is very simple. You can move really fast and you can break things. there, for anything that you go into the market with a startup, there is already somebody doing that. You can say, okay, Google could have built OpenAI, but they didn't, because it's different. The foundation is different. So when it comes to startups are always there to move fast and break things. And that's where, when, OpenAI was formed, and not Google could have done it. Anybody could do anything. Google, Meta, they can do anything. But it is really hard to move fast when you're that big. And that's where the opportunity is. So even though Wix, Squarespace, they existed, but if you ask people, a lot of people, they are coming from Wix, Squarespace to Butternut AI. And when we ask them, what was the reason? It was never a delightful experience for them to build on those platforms. It is not even now. It is still very complex. So when, we are targeting creators, freelancers, small business owners, they are not techies. They want something really simple and that could talk to them. So we are building a platform. The foundation is made in such a way that we are building a platform where you can talk to the software just the way you talk to a developer and tell what you want, what you like. So we are building an AI agent that could build the entire website or the web app. You say, okay, integrate my Calendly, do this, do that, and it can do it for you. That these players cannot do. And I think the simplicity, the ease of use, and the intelligence that is there in the system is really helping us move fast.
Okay, so you're saying that all the changes that I have to keep making and on the integration that I need to, for them also, I don't need any drag and drop at all, and I can just talk to the system, right?
So there is no drag and drop there. If you want to customize text and all those things, you can just do it with a few clicks. If you don't like the layout, there is a regenerate option. Just click, and it will keep on showing you new regenerate option. If you're adding a section, talk to the AI and just say what you want to do. Integrate this, do that. It will do it for you. So that's what the feature is. And we are trying to make it a lot more intelligent in the next version. So stay tuned for that.
Yeah, that's amazing. You just talked about content creators as well, and I want to know. So you yourself do have a personal brand across platforms, especially I think LinkedIn and X. And so, did you consciously try to do it because a lot of founders have now need to be creators as well, or did you just want to build a personal brand? And what is the story behind that? When did you start that?
I didn't do it very consciously with some aim in mind. It was more like when I moved in SF. I observed a lot of things as a new immigrant, as a brown person in Silicon Valley. So I was just putting down my observations on Twitter and LinkedIn, and kind of a couple of things just went viral. So I won't say I plan things, yes, but the mind is always working. I would say I'm a bit observant, so I kind of see things and what's happening, and I just put out my thoughts out there, and some things, resonate a lot with people.
Yeah, and I saw your tweets when we also reached out to you before, and I do want to understand. So because one, you're a person of color, and two, you are a woman, and then for both the things, just the discrimination that you face, and I personally know a lot about this as well because I talk to a lot of people and try to observe these things everywhere I go. Uh, how difficult was it when you moved to the US? Did you think it's a problem in the startup ecosystem as well? Well, we know that it does happen across the globe, but in that ecosystem, is it still a lot?
So I would say SF, Silicon Valley in itself, the concept of SF is very different from across the world. Here, people really believe in the concept of giving back. So I would say being a woman, yes, there's a bias against you, but it's not impossible. So it can be a little harder. You have a bit more obstacles on your way, but still it is not impossible. So that is one thing. And second, as a brown person, no, I don't feel like a minority here. There are so many desis around, and so many Indians working in FANG or building their startup. So that was never a disadvantage to me. And I would say it doesn't matter, from where you come. People are always looking at your potential in Silicon Valley. They always want to feel like, oh, can this be the future? or are you building the future? So it is, I would say, they welcome anybody from anywhere with open arms. And it is very easy to get meetings. It is very easy. Like if you have a genuine reason to meet anyone, anyone is just one or two connections away. So that concept of giving back, like, I have made it big. Okay, now how do I support other entrepreneurs? So that is very prevalent in SF or in the Silicon Valley area. So I won't say it was very difficult. And then I had my Y Combinator community that really helped me. People are very close. So it doesn't end, after 3 months. The ecosystem, the community, that really helped me evolve here. So I
Yeah.
would say, yeah, Silicon Valley is a very different place, and you can move here from anywhere, and people will accept you.
Okay. That's good to know because I think that that's one feedback that I've gotten for a few people there. Like at least in the startup community, they are very welcoming to people who come from anywhere. But that have still heard that like even in the startup community there and everywhere, women in STEM are not they don't have a significant share there. And well, coming from global south myself, and I know that in India there's a myriad of challenges, like so we can't even go there. But in the US or in the global north, uh, you when you went there, did you feel there are different reasons of why there is not enough representation of women in STEM, or are there any systemic issues which are different in the US, or because that representation still that needs to the level that we would ideally want it to reach is not there? So what is your point of view on that?
I Okay. To be honest, yes, the number is less. Women in STEM, they are less. And if you ask me the reason, it could be, maybe in the US. Like I can talk a lot about why is it in India, but in the
Yeah,
US, why there are less women in STEM could be many reasons, how they are brought up or how they are encouraged to pursue different fields. But I would say the number is still a lot more compared to India. I have so many founder friends who are women and who are doing amazing, amazing work, and the companies really successful. So I would say yes, we are less, but that pattern, more and more women are getting into it, and yes, the number is going to increase from here as the AI is coming. People are becoming more independent, they can execute more things. But yeah, there is a bias against women that also,
yeah,
a man trying something, a woman trying something, there's a difference. The kind of support you get here, there, it can be different. So I think that could be one reason, because startup is no one, the trajectory is not one straight line. It comes with
yeah.
a lot of ups and downs, and when you have that support, that ecosystem around you, that could really help you to evolve. So I think, yeah, that could be the reason.
Yeah. So, also, I would like to know that, in the corporate world or the startup world, anywhere, even, I've worked with a few companies and I've seen that, like, whenever we talk about women and their issues or their representation, or, there's a problem with the pay gap, there's a problem with the representation and the number of women itself, people don't want to usually talk about it at all. When a woman will bring these issues up, they will say she's a feminist who's always ranting.
Feminist.
Yeah, the feminist always ranting. If the boys, they don't want to do it because obviously it threatens their own monopoly, so they will not do it. But then, so as a founder, that like now you are a two-time founder yourself, and you have met. Have you met people who are like trying to bring in a change in the culture of the organization from top down, and integrate these things in the culture where it might create a difference over time?
Yes. So to add to the last question, also, it
Yeah,
just came into my mind, like how we built our culture in SockSoho, in Butternut AI, and how I'm seeing women leading amazingly. I think yes, when it's men are not used to taking orders from women. So that could also, in the corporate world, that could also be one reason where if, a woman, a boss tells you something, you can be like, oh, she's too aggressive. But the same
Yeah.
thing if a male guy tells you, they're like, oh, he's very visionary. So those differences, those biases can be there. They are there, and that can happen. But I would say in SockSoho, when we were building, we were like, majority of our team, they were women. And we were
Yeah.
so proud of it. I think, first of all, creating that safe environment. And second, saying like, your manager or your boss is a boss, irrespective of the gender. So when you come in the office, you don't bring in your gender, you bring in your talent, you bring in the hard work. I think that is the culture. All the startups here, they are also building that. So, but yeah, in the bigger companies, there are so many hierarchies and things are different. But I would say startups, I don't see here anybody saying, oh, I'm not going to take this order from a woman, especially in SF. So I don't
Yeah.
see that here anymore. So I
Yeah.
think, yeah, bringing that, first of all, making a safe environment, and then second, leading by example
Yeah.
can really help, yeah, grow
Yeah.
us in number.
Right. Well, I think that's a good answer. And Pritika, I also wanted to know, so you are also an investor, right? You're starting investing in startups. So I wanted to understand that obviously there are a few fundamentals that any investor would see in a startup before investing, but there's always a few things that any investor over indexes on, that this is very important to me. So is there something you look for in a company or a founder, and which is like, okay, if this is there, I'm going to invest, and if it's not there, then this is a clear red flag, and I'm going to stay away.
Yes, so I invest at seed, pre-seed stage. I'm an angel investor. Then I also invest with Pioneer Fund as the venture partner. So one thing I really look for before investing is definitely the founders.
Yeah.
What chemistry do they have? How they met? Did they go out of their discomfort zone even before building this company? Like, have
Yeah.
they done something? Have they? Do they have that mindset of going from 0 to 1 and 1 to 10 and 10 to 100? And so I think definitely I look at the founders. Do they have that fire in them? Because ideas can change. You can pivot. Things, so many things can change for you, for your company. So I do not bet on the idea. Yes, it is, if they have some insight about that idea, that really helps. But I definitely look at the founders. What insight do they have about that thing? And have they kind of build something in their life, or were they like very standard, okay, went to school, took up a job, and then they're just trying startup? So that fire, I really try to see if they have that fire to really
Yeah.
do things. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense, because there will be ups and downs in the journey, but the person has to be strong enough to take it all the way. And right. So Pritika, well, I know that we have a hard stop in some time, but I'll quickly move on to the last section of my podcast with you,
Sure.
where it is like rapid fire. I will ask you five quick questions. You have to give me five quick answers, right? Uh, Let me just open them up. Yeah. All right. So my first question to you is, can you tell me one overhyped AI trend?
Hmm. uh, Customer service with building bot for customer service.
Bots for customers. Yeah. Don't like them myself. So one thing the Indian startup ecosystem can learn from the more advanced US startup ecosystem.
Betting on young people and just taking a back seat.
Yeah. Uh, if AI could replace one thing in your daily life, what would you want it to be?
Daily chores and grocery shopping.
Grocery shopping, right? Uh, so if you had to start a totally non-tech business tomorrow, what would it be?
Something in the skincare or beauty segment, something in the D2C or the trade uh, kind of segment, physical product for sure.
Okay. And last question, one piece of advice to all other founders that are out there.
Have faith, but also surround yourself with more ambitious, more successful people so that they can show you the right way. Because, yeah, sometimes you need to take a step back and reevaluate what you're doing.
Okay, that's nice. Okay, Pritika, thank you so much for being here. Again, I know you're a busy person. You took time out of your busy schedule. Thank you so much for being here. I had a lot of fun talking to you, and hope we can connect again.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, and your questions were really, really interesting. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Pritika. See you.